This is Alex.
Ah!
This is the Prude. I wouldn't even call it the Prude podcast because Yammin's not here. And when he's not here, I don't even feel like it's worth doing it. So why are we doing this?
Because Yammin said he wasn't feeling up to it.
He wasn't feeling up to it. And if we're...
It's convenient because you said that there was a question literally about the fact that he's just off and on.
So there you go, Yammin. Sitting this one out. I guess he can't handle the heat when people catch on to his fucking... I feel like, at the end of all this, there's an expose. It'll turn out that Yammin's absence was actually due to the fact that he was a secret agent for some foreign country, and that he's actually away on missions or trying to kidnap a princess or assassinate.
Why would you kidnap a princess?
Why would you not kidnap a princess? You could hold them for ransom, get $1 million easily.
Why is it that we no longer... I feel like it's easier to just banter when there's like nothing going on, but there's three of us. Mm-hmm. But when there's nothing going on, it's just you and me. I feel alone.
Yeah, same. Yammin feels
so empty and hard to talk to. You fucking soulless
That's
prick.
True, you piece of shit. Yammin just feels a hole in our hearts, I feel. And I think a lot of people feel the same way. He's a good, comforting presence, like a nice warm bowl of chicken noodle soup. Like you never really notice until it's gone. And then you'll do anything to get it back. Patrick, what are you looking at? Now that I have my webcam on, I can look at you straight in the eye and tell you what a piece of shit you are. What's going on Twitter? Tell me what are the moments?
Stop doing that voice. Just talk like a person.
Nope, I'm gonna do it just to piss you off.
It's not funny. I hate it so much.
All right, what's on Twitter? What are you looking at? What's interesting you these days? Stop lighting your goddamn fucking microphone on fire.
I'm not lighting it on fire. I'm just playing with my lighter. But something that I've noticed a lot. I've probably pointed this out a billion times, which is pretty much everything I've ever talked about on here. Is like I'm pretty sure we've talked about this before, but it's the someone will say something like Donald Trump's a piece of shit, or Donald Trump needs to respect women, or something like that, and then somebody will say like, oh yeah, what about Kevin Spacey? It's like, why would you mentioning another terrible person cancel out the other person? I do not understand these people. Like, it's like PEMDAS or something in their head. It's just like, well, if I bring up another bad person, then it just sort of evens out, and then everything's fine. Blah. I'm an idiot. I'm a stupid inbred whore.
It cancels out, just like in long division or whatever the fuck. I don't even think that's the right math, but who cares?
Long as fuck.
Yeah, the whataboutisms get me going. I see a lot of people, especially recently with all this... I don't know. I think people talking about Trump's weight and stuff. Have you seen that?
I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, that's really fucking dumb. And I see people trying to use that as ammo against him.
That's not. It's not helpful because there are dumb people and like who like Trump and they're dumb. But there's also people who are just sort of like vicious and kind of conniving smart. They just sort of like enjoy the chaos of it. Yeah. And those people are going to be smart enough to point out how stupid it is that we're tagging on to this. Like, just don't say anything. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Yes, it's stupid. Just, I don't know. Don't be a tabloid idiot when it comes to this stuff. Just be serious. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little funny when his doctor comes out and is like, we did extra tests and he is actually in perfect health. He has very good genes.
He's Captain America.
It's it's funny because you can give one look at the president and tell he is obviously not the pinnacle of health.
No, he's not.
But he has this guy.
Would you call that body shaming? It is, isn't it?
No.
Yes, it is.
Patrick.
If you said that about anybody else, it would be body shaming. Not you, just like the people making fun of him.
I think it's not body shaming because he's saying that he is like the healthiest person alive.
No, not this specific instance of him like saying, "Oh, I'm healthy," but he's really not. It's just that in general, people make fun of how fat he is, and so it's like, "Oh, he's got all these chins." It's like, well, there are people who you like who are heavier. Yeah, and saying that it's not okay for people like that. It's like I can see how people would get mad about that, but I feel like in this particular instance, he looks like a pile of foreskin, so it's totally okay to make fun of him.
I don't even care that he looks like that. I would not care at all. I don't think anyone would care about the president's weight or his health or whatever if he did not constantly say that he was the healthiest person alive.
And he wasn't also a malignant piece of shit.
Your words, not mine, but I'm just saying.
Does malignant mean something else?
Malignant is a term often used for tumors and shit, right?
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
He's a tumor. He's cancerous. He's awful.
I like how you didn't know what that word meant, but you're
But
like,
no, it
it
doesn't
worked out way better than I thought.
Malignant. I hear that word a lot in fantasy games because it'll be like the king or the rulers is like, we need to cut out this malignant rumor of blah blah blah. You know.
That's true. I think it just means kind of a gross thing that's like attached, maybe, like maybe a parasite of some sort. You know, something gross that you just gotta figuratively or literally just cut that shit out of there.
Malignant.
But yes, if I pointed out to anyone on the street and be like, "You're not the pinnacle of health," that'd be a shitty thing to do. Also, it'd be strange, and people would not understand why I was insulting them.
I feel like people have been chomping at the bit, like, because like in general, people that don't like Trump are either you're smart or you swing left mostly, and these people are also on the same side of like anti-body shaming and stuff. So they were sort of like, when you draw a political cartoon of Trump, you can't draw him really fat because then it'll be like, well, no, that's not the kind of thing we're trying to say. He's a bad person, but we don't want to, say that every fat person is a bad person. But then this came out and they were like, just like, finally, yes, we can finally make fun of what he looks like. And I just like, people dogpiled on it in such a stupid way. It doesn't matter. Why would that matter?
It really doesn't. I think it's funny because I see a lot of people and hear a lot of people just even in my daily life kind of make fun of how the president looks still. Like people will say like, oh, the color orange, the same color as the president's hair, or like something like that. And I'm just like, it's kind of a low blow, kind of unnecessary. And I get that it's a joke and probably doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But when we're in like a constant argument that we seem to be in these days, making pointless little comments like that really does not help prop up your case, just takes away from the fact and kind of makes you look like an asshole. So, because if you really just drag it down to like, oh, this person looks like a Keebler elf, or this person looks like... People say Jeff Sessions looks like a Keebler elf, which
one's Jeff Sessions?
The attorney general who hates marijuana a lot.
Was he the guy who said good people don't smoke marijuana?
Yes.
Fuck that guy.
And he also talks like...
I'm a Southern judge from 1894. Your Honor, I do declare that this man is guilty.
That's pretty spot on. While the comparison is funny, I recognize that it's pretty mean, and if...
I don't care. I don't give a shit.
I don't know. Keebler elf isn't the worst.
Is there a person alive that looks like a Keebler elf? Besides Jeff Sessions. So it doesn't matter. It's not a stereotype. There aren't Keebler elves running around.
It doesn't have to be a stereotype.
If we said
it can be used to make fun of someone. I can see someone, if Jeff Sessions was in high school today for whatever reason, he was like, hello my fellow kids, I can see a high school bully pushing him into a locker and be like, better get back to the tree, Keebler elf.
What, when Jeff Sessions was in high school and all the other Southern people were running around, it's like,
Jeff, you look like a Keebler elf, I tell you what. And he was just like, no, my masculinity.
And he just fell over. Is that how it works?
I bet his bullies smoked weed, and that's why he hates weed so much.
One day I'll be in power, and I'll take it away from you.
He's gonna roll up to his former high school bully's house, and like he's got a family now and 3 kids. And he's gonna roll up with the FBI, and he's gonna like search his entire house for weed. And they'll be like, "Jeff, I haven't seen you in years. What's this about?" It's like, never fuck with an elf.
Oh God, I was wondering where you were gonna go with that, but it came back to fucking Keebler elves.
It always comes back to the elves.
Oh, I wrote this down earlier this week because I was watching a video and I was really tired and I thought it was funny as shit.
Let's see if it's as funny as you remember.
I was watching somebody play Hitman and he took somebody to disguise and he pointed out, it's like, if you were at work one day and then somebody came up to you and they were wearing your friend's uniform but it was a giant bald man, would you be like, oh, it's you, Tom? And I thought it was funny because I was like, what if you were at the pool one day and then somebody walked up to you wearing my whistle and my shorts and they were like, it's me, Patrick. Did you believe them? I just thought it was really funny. I think the Hitman mechanic should be like the screen fades to black after you like shows you pickpocketing the person's uniform away and then he just sort of looks exactly like him. That would be good.
That's implying... When I think of Hitman, I figured he was just stealing people's generic uniforms, and I could just be like, "Oh, it's just the new guy, whatever."
No.
But I'm imagining now that he like takes their name tag too.
People are way more organized than that, though. They have like lists of employees and like what they look like and ID tags, and it's like, I've worked with this man for 4 years, and now he's bald. and 6'7".
Yeah. I mean, I remember in one of the Hitman levels, I have to assassinate this special sushi chef, who's the only man in the world who can cut up that poisonous fish in just the right way, so they can serve it to some high profile person. So I basically have to take on the role of this famous chef and serve it to this lady I have to kill, and I serve it to her, and she doesn't even raise the question that, hang on,
you're not the person I hired.
You're not the famous chef. You're a bald white man who looks like he could belong to the Aryan Brotherhood.
This isn't the cancer ward.
There's no way an Aryan Brotherhood member could make this special Japanese concoction.
Is that a barcode on the back of your head? I feel like if you were going bald, a barcode on the back of your head would be a very cool tattoo. If you're going to get one on your head.
Yeah, if Hitman didn't exist in the world and people didn't know what that was, a barcode in the back of your head would be cool. Could be sort of like meta commentary on, I don't know, capitalism. If you're into that.
I just want to get tons of tattoos. I just want to get like 1 billion tattoos.
What would be the first tattoo you would get? Would it be something meaning or just something that looks cool?
I want to get tons on my hands because I feel like my hands are really boring to look at, and like the best way to get a tattoo, in my opinion, you can do whatever you want with your body. I feel like you shouldn't judge people for, how they color the bag of meat that they were given. But like just really subtle, like a symbol or something that looks cool on its own, and anybody who isn't you or isn't in on whatever the symbol represents wouldn't really know. They just think, oh, that looks cool. But if they asked, then you could tell them what it means, and then the meaning is expressed. But otherwise, you wouldn't know. So it's just a cool symbol by itself. I like there's a step between the two things. But if you get like the Ocarina of Time symbol on your hand, then it's just like,
oh, the Triforce.
Yeah.
That's kind of nerdy. I feel like people would immediately be able to call you out. like fucking nerd.
I just want some mystery involved.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a specific symbol in mind? Is it from like a historical thing, or is it something you made on your own?
Oh, I wanted to get the crate number for the Ark of the Covenant. I had it written down.
Oh, that's a good one, actually.
It's because nobody knows what that number means, but then I tell them, and then they know. But yeah, it's from
like Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
After it gets carried away by the top men.
That's like properly obscure enough where I wouldn't know it when I first see it, but then when I ask you about it, I'm like, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's good. I did a lifeguard training class with a guy who's really into his Irish heritage, and he had all this, all these markings.
Knots.
Yeah, he had all these markings, these tattoos on his shoulder, and some guy. I feel like it's kind of rude almost to go up to someone you've just met and be like, "What does your tattoo mean?" But he was pretty nice about it, and he was like, "Oh, it's like Gaelic stuff. It's like my family name in Gaelic or something." So I was like, I thought that was pretty cool. But if I had to get a tattoo for myself, I think it would probably have to be something really important to me. I'm not one for superficial stuff, especially because I can't imagine any sort of tattoo that I would get on my body that's just aesthetically pleasing that I wouldn't regret in like 10 years. Because my tastes are changing all the time. I would probably think I was a dumb idiot for getting that tattoo in the first place.
Yeah, people say that a lot. And then people with tattoos will be like, dude, we don't regret it. I mean, I guess you just have to be a certain kind of person who is... I don't know. I don't really conceive the idea that like my particular body is any significant like greatness to it. I just feel like... If you got 100 years and you don't do anything interesting with this little bit that you've been given, but you're like, the thing you were born with is like, this is all you got. Why would you not modify it in any way you can? I want to get robot arms and stuff, and I want to like fly through the air on robot wings and get a completely different face. Yeah.
I think if you're even a little hesitant about getting a tattoo, you're not the kind of person that should be getting tattoos. Because I feel like if you're a tattoo person, you pretty much know immediately that it's something you want. That's what, in my experience, people that want tattoos know that they want tattoos. And people that are like, maybe if the right thing comes along, I feel like, nah. Like, you got to be all in pretty much. Especially me, I'm a very indecisive person. So I definitely would fuck it up.
You know that, like, popular sorority tattoo where you get it on the bottom lip?
Oh, yeah.
That one,
my friend got a bottom lip tattoo, but it faded.
At that shit all the time. I don't know why. It's not the stupidest thing in the world. It's just like it's funny because it's like, what if you have the word carrot under there and you're like, look, there it is. Now you and I know, and it's like the secret club, and they run away. It's just like, I don't know what I've been given just now.
My friend, who I won't name just in case he doesn't want to be named, got a lip tattoo, as you're describing, when he was drunk, but he got it in temporary ink, and he got it to say Pablo after Kanye West.
I was going to say, what else could it be?
I don't know. It faded super quickly, though. When he showed it to me, I thought it was real, and I was like, wow, you're such a goddamn idiot. But a lip tattoo is honestly a good place to hide it, because no employer would ever be able to see that. You could honestly even hide that from a loved one for a really long time.
Oh.
You just wouldn't be able to hide it from your dentist, really.
I worked at a outdoor garden place that built picket fences and would grow pumpkins during Halloween, just grow stuff. And
was this recent?
No, not recently. It was like a long time ago. It was like one of the first things I'd ever did. But they would do the thing where it's like, can you pull your bottom lip down? And you'd do that, and they're like, okay, cool. But they were looking for tattoos, and no piercings, no tattoos anywhere on your body. They were just very, thorough.
Damn, they cared that much? Mm-hmm. That's so weird. Doesn't make any sense to me. What does that even have to do with the job?
I have no idea.
The seeds will get offended if you have a upper lip tattoo.
There were a bunch of snooty white people who ran the place, so that probably contributed to it.
I bet. Is it the place?
Don't.
I think I maybe know what you're talking about.
Can you not try
Is it the specific place with this specific address that everyone
exactly
will be able to figure out in
house?
2 minutes? About 0.3 miles west, in this radius right here.
You don't even live close to me.
Well, not anymore, but I used to.
Not that close.
Pretty damn close.
Okay, there was our
I'd
pool.
say maybe just on the other side of town.
There was our pool.
I lived right by the pool.
I was 2 minutes away from the pool.
I was 30 seconds away from the pool.
Okay.
A minute. Yeah. You were not 2 minutes away from the pool.
It took me
you
2
definitely
minutes.
Were
It took
not.
me fucking 2 minutes to get home.
Definitely not.
I say 2 minutes, not literally 2 minutes, just really fast.
I'm talking in literal terms. In no traffic, maybe. You could get to the other pool
I took my
in 2
bike
minutes.
to the pool.
Yeah, and you biked like a miserable little bitch for years, I remember.
I remember enjoying it a lot. So much nostalgia. I know that I hate that job. It's the most mind-numbing job ever, being a lifeguard. But
yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of nostalgia just listening to every single podcast, because I just had so much time on my hands getting to and from work. Oh my god. Yeah.
Didn't you wipe out? Or get into some bike accident?
Oh, yeah. I don't remember. There was a couple times that happened, but it wasn't crazy. I didn't kill myself. I think there were a few times. I remember one time my bike had its tire popped by somebody for some weird reason, so I had to walk to work. And then they asked me, it's like, oh, can you go to this other pool today? And I'm like, I just got here. I don't want to go anywhere. And I almost died from heat stroke. And they were just like, okay, well, we'll just get somebody else to do who has a car and, is an adult.
That's the fucking worst. I remember one day I walked, because I did live within walking distance, but it was about a 20-25 minute walk, and I walked to work one day in the rain because no one told me that the pool had closed. And when I got there, they were like, oh, you didn't have to come in, we probably should have told you something. And I was like, motherfucker, of course you should have told me something.
It's like I don't hate the people who ran that place, but
I only hate some of them.
It's just
actually not even that much.
An incredible amount of ego for running a pool. It's just the most simple job ever. It's why do you care so much? Just dial it back, please.
That place was crazy. In retrospect, it was honestly a good job to have as a teenager, because it was easy and we got to be outside a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Honestly, if I had one complaint about other jobs, say I worked at some ice cream store or something, I'd just be cooped up inside all day, have to be on my feet all the time. I'd rather be out in the sun, relaxing, quote unquote, than doing some other menial task, Even though I'm sitting there boring my eyes out.
Did you just say relaxing in the sun?
Yeah.
That's not at all what we did.
We were seated and we were in the sun.
Okay,
I'd say that's pretty relaxing.
I
mean, were you actively scanning and watching for
to.
life signs? I would too, most of the time. But if there was 1 or 2 kids in the pool, I'd be I'd stare at them and zone out.
The job is literally to sit in a chair in blistering sunlight and stare at a pool for 10 hours sometimes. And that was pretty much what I did, because I had those stupid long shifts.
10, 12-hour days. Those were rough. Those were so dumb. Why the fuck do shifts structured in a way that lifeguards would ever have to work that much.
See, I like the beginning of the day shift because that was like,
right?
my
Yeah.
job's done. I get to go to Chipotle on the way home, and then I'm gonna go to work go work out, and then I'm gonna go home, and I'm gonna feel good because I made money. But
Yeah.
the end of the day shifts was like the worst time because all the little shitty kids would come into the pool with their moms and dads and like all these really annoying white people. I don't know what that neighborhood is, but it's like the most concentrated. Like, oh, you're not really doing your job right. Shut the fuck up! I don't want to be here.
I had that happen to me so many times. On my third day of work, when I was a terrified little 16-year-old, I was sitting in the deep end, and some fucking toddler just walks right off the deep end and starts drowning. And I'm like, oh shit, here we go. And I go and get him, and I'm like, my heart is pounding on my chest, and I'm freaking out. And the dad finally takes notice when I like put the kid back up on land, and I bring him over to his dad, and he's like, "Oh my goodness, thank you so much." And I was like, "Yeah, you're fucking welcome. Get off your BlackBerry and pay attention to your kid."
You're a babysitter when you're a lifeguard. You're absolutely a babysitter.
Yeah,
parents walk in and they completely, their mind is like a video game. They're just sort of like their highlighted target was their kid, but now it's nothing. They don't care anymore. They're looking at the sky. Yeah. They walk in and it's gone. They don't even have a kid anymore. They go sit down and they're playing their iPad and they read their Kindle.
Oh yeah. And then even after that, when I went back to the tent to get, fill out the paperwork or whatever, this mom came up to me and our manager there, the tall girl one, who you know who I'm talking about, and and this mom comes up to us as she's leaving. She's like, "I just wanted to say, I saw what you did," and I was like, "Oh wow, you're gonna like congratulate me or something?" And she's like, "I just wanted to say that you did not respond fast enough, and that I could tell that you weren't paying attention, and I know that if I was the concerned parent of that child, I would want someone to say something." And then she just left. I'm like, and it made me feel so terrible because I was already extremely nerve-wracked, and there you just like punched me in the gut with like judging my performance and then.
If I had just saved somebody, I would be in the pocket of euphoria, and somebody could have just come up to me and says like, "I stabbed your dog when you were 9," and then I would just be like, "I don't care, what? A kid almost died, but I saved that kid. Now I don't have to worry about that kid." And that's like the one save I'm gonna have to do this summer. Yeah,
that was the only save I ever had to do. I had a few other close calls.
That's pretty much all I had as well.
Yeah, there was a one time where I got off the chair, and the person who I immediately switched with had to jump right back off to save someone in the deep end. Yeah, and it was a really serious save, too. Like, the person was, like, a large adult male at the bottom of the deep end. They didn't know what they were doing. And I was like, and thank God the person who switched with me was actually a way better lifeguard, because I think would have fucked that up somehow.
I think
probably would have gotten myself killed.
Part of the reason I was still working out so heavily during those summers was because I was so fucking worried about having to lift somebody out of the water. And also because I have no body fat, so I can't float. I was just like, depending on like seeing how fast I could move my buoy, and just like, all right, I'm gonna hold it like this, and then it's just like all the straps and stuff, and oh man, so many things about that job is stress, just for teenagers as well. I'm sure that contributed to like the hair loss of like 90 kids.
I feel like the most efficient thing I should have done as a lifeguard is just, for any lifeguards really, if a large person is sinking at the bottom of your 13-foot deep end, toss like an anchor rope down there. The anchor will sink, and the person can just climb the rope.
I was going to say, toss
surface.
An anchor on them.
Toss
Hit them
an
with a cannonball. Finish the job.
Fire a ballistic missile and send a text to their phone to warn them.
Drop a submarine on
them. But yeah, it was a good job overall. I don't know. I got really tan, so I'm happy about that. And I learned not to give a shit about what I looked like because I wasn't like the fittest person. You were extremely dense.
You've lost
and we
a lot
hung
of
out
weight.
Together. Have I?
Yep.
I really haven't. I'm not sure. I don't really keep track of that kind of stuff.
You visually have.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're a thinner person.
Thank you. But it was funny because we would always be hanging out, and you had this like zero body fat physique, and I was just this like slightly pudgy, slightly like
Except
not even like that
I had
pudgy,
no
but
confidence though. I didn't get the confidence from it. I just sort of like hated everyone and was completely awkward and insane. And it was like you were looking at me and you were thinking, like, "Oh wow, that's kind of nice. I want to look like that." But I was just like, "Nobody look at me, or I'm gonna die."
Your personality did not match it whatsoever.
And it
You
still
felt
doesn't.
like you were kind of like a skeleton that was very shy
And
of like the sunlight or something.
I wanted to do this thing on Snapchat where I just took progress pictures because I was working out so much and taking protein and doing all that. And it just looked like I was obsessed with myself because I took a picture and put it on my story every day. And it was bad.
You still do it occasionally.
I know. I don't do it as often at all. I do it like every other month, week, something like that. Never as often as I did it back then.
I mean, I think it's one thing to feel good about yourself, and I would never body shame someone for trying to make them feel good about their body, so to speak. Yeah, you pointed at me. Were you gonna say something?
No, continue your point. Go ahead.
But I think there's a fine line definitely between cockiness and arrogance and feeling good about yourself. I think you can be... I see a lot of people do Instagram side-by-sides where there's one before pic from, 6 months ago and then one from where they're at now. And they're like, I lost like 30 pounds. And I was like, oh, wow, good for you. You look really good. But in your case, honestly, if you're like posting like every day of like how you like already look shredded, I'd just be like, Patrick,
I didn't
please
look
stop.
shredded in the first pic, though.
Maybe not in the first, but you
Not
were
at all.
definitely for a while you were just like shredded and you would just keep posting about it. And I was like, Patrick, you got to stop flexing, man. It's
I
getting out of
remember
control.
like there was a picture I took with, I don't remember why, because I never ever took pictures of myself before this, but one of the two girls, she took a picture of me, and the other girl was in the picture as well, but I cropped her out. And
Wait,
and,
I think I know this.
Yeah, you know who she is. It's on my Instagram. Fuck, I just completely lost my train of thought because I burped. Oh yeah, and that was the first picture. Like I don't know. I just hadn't taken really anything, and having somebody take a picture of me, I saw it and I was like, I hate myself, and I just like went on this train of like just hating how I looked, and I still kind of do. I mean, I'm never gonna shake that. It's just something deep rooted in my consciousness, but like. My motivation to go to the gym is entirely visual. I have no like. I mean, I enjoy competition and like lifting heavy stuff feels good, but it's like just noticing that like when you get pumped after the gym, it's just like I actually like I think I look good right now. Like that's basically it. And people are gonna say it's like, oh, well, you're a model. It's like, how dare you say that you're handsome? It's like I don't know what to tell you. I can't fix it. Sorry.
There's definitely I feel the same way. How I feel. For most people, this is a normal thing. We don't feel 100% comfortable in your own skin. Even if other people will be like, oh my god, you look like a god, etc., 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 you're my daddy. But I feel the same way where I like going to the gym. Partly visual, partly I think it's just satisfying. Whatever that endorphin is that's released when you work out. It feels like I've done something. I feel like I'm furthering my health in a positive way. And I really should jump back on that because I was really good about weightlifting over the summer, but I've just been stupid busy with school, so hopefully I'll fit that in this semester. I was going to comment on something else you said, but I totally forgot. But yeah, I like to work out, and I should start working out again.
Something I notice is that people who will post like the before and afters, and then somebody will, it'll be like, oh, this took me a year, and it's like the greatest thing I've ever done. I feel so much better. Like whatever change they made, if they gained weight, if they lost weight, whatever they did. Someone will comment, you look beautiful in both, or you look beautiful before. And then I understand what you're going for, the body positive thing, but this person in particular decided for themselves that they didn't want to look like how they did before, and sort of like undermining what they just accomplished by saying, why'd you even do that? You are beautiful. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not just saying that the entire body positive thing is terrible. It's just like this one little nugget of it. I just like, this person wanted to make a change. Don't get mad at them and say that they're hating on other kinds of body types because they made a change for themselves. Leave them alone.
You know what I think is weird, actually? And I got this from reading Reddit, and something Megyn Kelly said recently got me thinking about it. Yeah, I know, Megyn Kelly, the source of all intellectual thought.
I know.
But it's weird that some people, especially on Reddit discussions about this whole body shaming thing, will be like, Well, fat shaming actually really helped me to whip my ass into shape. Like, that negative reinforcement actually did something for me. And that's something Megyn Kelly also said. So, but I think it's kind of, sometimes it's cool to get that, or not cool, but you'll accept that from like a really close family member. Someone who's like, get out of the kitchen, fat ass, or something like that. If you like really do want that, and you're like, damn, yeah, I shouldn't like eat right now or whatever because I'm already at my calorie limit. But you're usually only comfortable with that if you have a really good relationship with that person and you know they're just looking out for you because, you know, they're kind of just a mental check on you and you want them to do that. But for like the large majority of people, if some random person on the internet is telling you, you look like a fat ass, hit the gym, or like stop eating donuts, like that's not going to help anyone. You're just going to like crush them emotionally. Yeah.
For me, that what I call it is like coach stuff. When someone says like, you're a piece of dirt. What are you doing? Get your fucking ass off the floor and stand up and do some more. It's like that kind of stuff works totally for me because it's just like, what did you just say? I'll do that right now. I'll prove to you that I can do this. Like, I don't know, negative reinforcement or something like that. Whatever the word would be. Yeah, but no, it does not work for everybody. Some people will hear that and be like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go in my room and never come out. Like, some people just don't process that the same way. And it's totally understandable. It's being told that you're a monstrous piece of shit. Why would you want to be hearing that when you're trying to go work out?
Yeah, I've never been in that situation, so I'm not even 100% sure how I would react. I don't think I would react well, but I don't know. It really depends probably who it would be coming from and what my like mental state in that time is. But like drill sergeants and stuff, like you see in a Full Metal Jacket, that movie, is that like famous drill sergeant who just like is tearing into them, just like
Arlie Army, breaking
their asses down. If I was one of those soldiers, I'd just be like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this anymore. You've totally changed my mind. Like, I don't want to have to yell, yes, sir. I'd just be like, why are you being such an asshole right now, dude? Like, are you okay? Like, who did this to you?
Well, I don't know.
I always like, when like people are that mean, that brutally mean, I'm more just like, why are you being so mean?
An interesting...
Like, you realize like you're being a bad guy right now?
It's just like...
Like, I just dive into it psychologically.
That is literally just like forging, soldiers. I guess maybe I'm just like being just badass or something like that. But I've had family members who are in the army, and there's something new that they do. I'm not sure everywhere which branches isn't, but it's called a stress card. And if a drill sergeant or if a instructor is giving you too much, or you feel like you're over, you're at your limit, then you can hand them a stress card, and that means you're done, and you get to go have a break or whatever. It's like you've done too much. It's like, dial it back, basically that, and then the drill sergeant will have to stop yelling at you. And it's contributed to a lot of posts on the internet about like, oh, millennials are pussies, and it's like, meh.
Yeah.
And this generation is making terrible soldiers, like what fucking Tommy Lahren says. It's like, oh, I'm lifting my bags over the overhead bin. It's like, oh, barely can get there. Yeah.
I've never heard about that stress card thing. As soon as you said it, I was like, I know this would not go over well with certain like parts
not
of people.
All. I'm not sure I like it either.
Me neither. Because I know boot camp is meant to mentally and physically break you down so the army or whatever branch can build you back up into a proper fighting force or fighting unit.
It's just a removal of all
if you can
good things you think about yourself.
Yeah, and if you can just tap out, basically,
what's the point?
I feel it kind of defeats the purpose, right? Because then you'll never get broken down to the point where they need to form you. I mean, that whole process is weird. I'd love to look into the actual like psychological shit they've set up for that and like the science behind it, but that, yeah, if you can tap out, that totally defeats the purpose. Because then you're just like, if he even opens his mouth, you could just be like, I'm good. Just like walk out for a little bit.
Pretty much do it. I'm not sure. Let me see if I'm totally correct about that, because I probably butchered it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure there's more complicated rules and policies at play than we're giving them credit for.
Okay.
But yeah, that's so weird. Let me know what you find, because maybe it's a limited use thing. Like you get like 3 uses during your stay.
Oh, okay. This is just for the Air Force, I think, or maybe it's not, but this is for the Air Force specifically, this article. Basic trainees in the Air Force are being issued stress cards. If basic training gets too hard or they need a timeout, they can just pull out these cards and the instructor has to stop yelling at them. No joke, I heard it from my cousin or my friend John. My buddy swears he saw them being handed out to new trainees. Oh, so it's just a rumor? Kids today have just don't have the chutzpah my generation does. One time when I was platoon leader in Somalia, this kid handed me one and asked me for a timeout. I kid you not. None of that is true, of course. The stress cards myth is usually attributed to the Air Force due to the perceived ease of the Air Force training. And there is truth to the myth, but the Army or even but it wasn't even the Army or the Air Force. In the 1990s, the cards were issued to new recruits as a means of telling them what their options were if they got depressed. I'm so sure this exists, though. Why would people in the Army tell me that it's not true?
That's bizarre. I mean, part of me is like, mental illness in the military is a really big thing that needs to be addressed. But I feel that most
I guess it doesn't exist.
I feel like most of those issues stem from combat-related induced mental illness. You know, things obviously like PTSD and reassimilating to civilian life. Not from the initial stuff the Army puts you through. I mean, maybe what the Army puts you through will exacerbate your depression that might already be there, or your anxiety, or things like that. In which case, you'll probably get, medically disqualified or something? Because...
I don't know who I heard that from. Who did I hear that from? There's
Probably
definitely
one of those internet tidbits that get passed around that you just kind of unconsciously pick
maybe
up
I
on.
attributed it to one of the people that I actually know who are in the Army then. That's dumb. I feel dumb for thinking something that's not true.
Yeah. Well, we just spread fake news, so I hope we feel
Great.
good about ourselves. Well, I think it's an interesting thought. You know, exercise.
And that's not even remotely what it is, though. Like the depressing, like depression is like, here's some options for you in the Army if you feel depressed. That is so not even remotely stress card things. Like, what?
Yeah, no. Hopefully, if any of our listeners know more about this shit, let us know.
It's good to know that the Army is the way it is, so that it's not just like, it's just something created by, like, I don't know, alt-right, like, Facebook posts. It's like, just like, oh,
There's a bunch of pussy in the Army now because millennials are blah, 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 blah.
Do you think... Would you ever join the Army? Or any sort of branch of the military?
If I had no other option.
No other option.
Also, I would try the Marines.
The Marines, really? Why the Marines specifically?
Because it sounds really cool.
It just sounds cool?
Yeah.
I think if I really had to pick a branch of the military to join... Well, aren't the Marines just a subsection of the Army? I'm not sure how the whole organizing thing works.
Navy, I think.
Navy? Really?
I think? I don't know.
No, the Navy has the Navy SEALs. Oh, wait. And the U.S. Army has the U.S. Army Rangers, right?
I don't know.
Maybe
there could be all of these things or none.
Yeah, who the fuck knows? If I had to pick one, though, I probably would just pick the regular Army, or maybe even the Air Force. I don't want to cop out and pick something like the Coast Guard or the Merchant Marines.
My brother was in the Coast Guard.
Marines. Yeah. I mean, Coast Guard's cool.
I don't care at all. I'm just bringing it up to fucking fuck with you.
But, honestly, I would just be terrible in the military, so it's not easy for me to make this decision.
You say that, but that's what everybody says until the going gets rough, and then they just are like, all right, I'm just going to be totally copacetic about this and just put my nose to the grindstone.
I mean, I guess that's what the point of boot camp is. If you're just an able-bodied person, they'll fucking turn you into a fighting machine, whether you like it or not. Yeah, exactly. So I'd wonder, I've read some Reddit posts where they'll be like, literally someone's wife or girlfriend will say, oh, my husband went to boot camp and he's come back like a completely different person. Like, we don't get along like we used to, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, I never thought about that. Because it quite literally changes you as a person in a lot of ways. And I never thought that maybe the person it changes you into might not be liked by other people in your life. No one really considers that. I think most people obviously will stand by their partner, and maybe people aren't changed that dramatically. But still, I wonder if it would turn me into a person that's fine with sleeping on rocks and
I think that
used to the sound of gunfire.
Humans can adapt to anything.
Mm.
I don't know. You're talking about change. My oldest brother was actually in the Coast Guard, and when he went in, he was heavier. He sort of didn't take care of like his, like he wasn't in the greatest shape, and he just sort of was a completely different person. When he came out, he was trim, and he had a great haircut, and he was cut, and he just like looked like a completely different person. I don't know. I wasn't really awake in terms of like my life yet. I was like 2 or something, and my dad just always told the story that he just didn't recognize him when they did the formation when they came to pick him up from the Coast Guard. He didn't even recognize him.
That's pretty intense. Is your brother still in the Coast Guard?
He's a nurse practitioner, I think.
Oh, that's sick. Okay. Yeah, I know a lot of people will do a stint in the military before they go on to whatever careers they want to do for the rest of their lives.
So to confirm, my sister was in the Army, and I just texted her, are stress cards a real thing in the Army? And she said, I've never seen one, but people say they're real. So they're not real.
I feel like, maybe it's one of those kind of an urban myth sort of thing where amongst a certain group of people, it's like I heard they got stress cards down there or something. Like, I feel like a lot of industries or whatever have that. Kind of like how lifeguards, you would hear about other pools that had 30-minute adult swim, which means that you would only have to have like one guard up or whatever, right? So I'm like, oh shit, like I should go to that pool, but it's probably not actually a real thing. So
it's just the pool that's off in the distance, no matter how close you think you're getting to it. It's just there's always that on the horizon pool.
Yeah, it's a mirage. Grass is always greener. But Adam Driver was in the Marines, and now he's like a big Marines proponent, and he's like, we should spread art throughout the military and bring joy and emotional awareness and intelligence to all these people that are serving our country. But the thing I never actually knew is that Adam Driver actually was disqualified from the Marines, so he never actually saw any combat or something. So there was something wrong with him.
Oh, Adam Driver.
Yeah, there's something wrong with him that made him prevented him from serving.
His Arts in the Armed Forces things is so
cool. That's I saw his TED Talk and I was like, this is really cool, Adam Driver.
It is. It really is.
Then I saw a bunch of people in the comments being like, Adam Driver's a fucking pussy. He'd never even fucking went into combat with the Marines or something. And I'm just like, can you just not appreciate a good act this person is doing?
Also, like, I'm not saying that an individual soldier in the Marines isn't contributing, but as an individual, Adam Driver probably has done more as a civilian than he would have in the military, unless he, would have done what he is doing now when he was in the military. Just like, he's done a lot. He's done charity events and all this, like, Arts in the Armed Forces stuff. Yeah, fuck that. What are you talking about? Stupids.
Hell yeah. I mean, he's still showing them so much support because he developed such great relationships with everyone in the Marines, and he really cared about these people that he was like, okay, yeah, I want to really start this arts initiative and get people involved and support them in any way I can, even though I can't fight alongside them, And I think that's really commendable. Any other, person probably would have just been like, oh, shoot, okay, I guess this is my out of the Marines. I'm going to go lead a normal life now. But Adam Driver was like, no, I'm going to use my newfound success and love for acting and the arts and stuff and bring it to all these people that changed my life for the better. So that's, like, really cool of him, actually. I love Adam Driver so much. I don't care what anyone says that he looks weird.
He doesn't look weird. He's just enormous. He's fucking huge. I don't even know where all of this mass comes from.
Yeah, literally. I was actually super surprised when I saw him with his shirt off. I was like, Jesus Christ, this dude is actually, like,
huge,
shredded.
He's just
like that
enormous. It's weird.
That SNL skit, Matt the radar technician or whatever, where he goes undercover and he's like, I heard Kylo Ren is shredded, that he's an 8-pack. I was like, haha, that's a funny joke, Adam Driver. And then, like, we see him shirtless in the next movie. I was like, holy shit, he's shredded.
That he is an 8-pack. Fucking
it was more of like just an abdominal brick. You can't really see his lower abdominals because he has high-waisted pants for some reason. But yeah, it was insane. Yeah, he's fucking Ben Swolo.
Ben Swolo.
That's one of my favorite goddamn memes to come out of that. But no, I love him a lot. Let's see. Where are we at? Oh, wait. Holy shit, it's been 45 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's been quite a while.
This went by in a
What are
jiffy.
some of the topics that you wanted to talk about?
We don't have to talk about the Nintendo making cardboard shit because Yammin's not here, and I wanted Yammin's opinion on that primarily.
He probably doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean, some of it looks pretty cool.
I want to switch for Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild and nothing else.
So fucking bad.
What?
No, I want a Switch so fucking bad.
Oh, I thought you said it's so fucking bad. It's like those are the two greatest
Oh
games
no,
of the
no,
year.
I'm saying so fucking bad as I want it so fucking bad.
Oh.
But also I want it for. I never realized how important party games are until I've gotten to college and had people over and stuff. Like, I love playing Mario Kart on the Switch, and it's so easy because you immediately get 2 controllers. You can use each of the Joy-Cons so simply, and it actually feels good. But there's other games that are coming out that are going to be amazing. Like, I'm sure there'll be a new Super Smash Brothers. I'm sure there will be some other unexpected gems that we're not even aware of yet. So, and the fact that you can take it all on the go is awesome. But all this new Nintendo cardboard, it's not even called that. It's called Nintendo Labo, which I don't understand why it's called that.
Maybe it's an acronym.
Maybe, yeah. But it's basically you buy this kit of cardboard. It's like $70 or $80 or something crazy like that.
It's a stupid amount of money.
Yeah, for cardboard. And you can turn it into all sorts of different things and hook it up to your Switch. For example, you can make it into a piano. You can make it into a fishing pole.
A shotgun.
A motorbike. And then you put your Switch in it somehow. And your Switch will be like, oh yeah, I recognize this cardboard shape. Let's turn this into a fucking virtual piano or virtual fishing or something. So that's cool. I mean, I'm sure kids will love it. It's funny that other companies are chasing VR, 4K gaming, and Nintendo's like, we have cardboard. It'll be fun. Use your imagination. Which feels like a very Nintendo thing. So I don't know. I don't even have a Nintendo Switch, so I'm not a expert to comment on these things. How do you feel? Oh god, you're chewing. It's arousing.
I think it looks dumb. I used to make cardboard guns when I was a kid, so I was just like, but
me too. Kids will get in so much trouble for bringing cardboard guns to school these days, I bet.
You know how much trouble we got into?
Did you get into trouble? What?
Well,
we'd more get like I went to Catholic school and they'd just be like, hey, you can't. Guns are bad.
I didn't even take them to school. We would run around at night and play gunfights, and I just made, like, I would print out a picture of an M1911, like a handgun, and then I would cut out the shape, trace it onto a piece of cardboard, cut like 13 layers or whatever, how many I needed, and then it was a gun with hot glue in it, and then I would take it out and play with my friends, and I just made like 1 billion of those, and then one night a cop showed up, and then there was flashlights showing on us, and they were just like, guys, what do you got there? And they just sort of took them all from us and like laid them out, looking at all of them. And says, who made these? And then I was like, me. And then there was that scary moment, and then they left without even talking to our parents. And then we had to tell our parents about that later that night. Like, we walked in, and was like, what cop talked to us? And then we walked to our rooms, and they were like, wait, no, hold on, what did you say? Yeah,
did he take them from you?
No, he just said you need some orange duct tape.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. I don't know. That's kind of shitty, though. I don't know. I feel like cops, if there's a bunch of kids, well, it was the dark, so maybe he thought you were actually running around with guns, but hopefully it didn't give you too hard of a time. But honestly, just imagine if you were not in the neighborhood you were in and you were not the skin color you were. That could have gone down very differently, I feel.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it definitely has gone down differently historically.
Because I guess somebody called like 911 and said, "Oh, there's some kids running around with guns," and then whatever fucking white old lady was just like, "Nah."
Yeah, there's a bunch of fucking kids running around the neighborhood, shouting that they have guns and saying "pow pow" at each other. That's the real threat this country needs to be worried about. I guess we should, real quick. Do you want to talk about Offset's fucking homophobic line or whatever in his new song?
Okay, so he is friends with a lot of gay fashion designers. He has gay friends, but it was stupid of him to think. His explanation was like, "Oh, I just was thinking of a word that would rhyme with whatever he was saying," and he just picked the word queer. Like, how are you not self-aware enough to see like that word doesn't mean what it did? That word means
Yeah.
something else now. Maybe he's not homophobic, but he's definitely a fucking idiot.
Yeah, he said in some song he was like, I don't vibe with queers, and it was just like,
That doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
I don't know, like how could that possibly not mean something homophobic to somebody today?
Yeah, and he posted on Instagram a fucking screenshot of a dictionary definition of queer saying strange. It's defined as strange or odd, and he's went on to write about. He's like, I didn't write this line about gay people. I work in fashion and I'm friends with tons of gay people and we're cool and stuff. Basically pulling the I have gay friends excuse, which never really works. And he's like, to me, that queer, I don't mean someone who's gay. I mean lame people who film you, post it, and stalk you. Lingo, they mean strange or odd. And he's like, in all caps, I'm sorry. I apologize. If I offended anybody, I'm sorry. He's like, no, he says, I'm offended. I offended anybody.
Yeah, his explanation was kind of choppy.
Yeah, he seems more mad at the fact that he has to apologize than
Yeah, I did not expect him to be sincere about it.
I call that a Logan Paul.
Called a Logan Paul.
Called a Logan Paul.
It was almost a mix of Kevin Spacey as well, because he said, I have gay friends.
I have gay friends. You don't understand. I have gay friends.
I'm
offended that I offended anybody.
Yeah.
So that was fucking dumb. Whatever.
And then people, I think I pointed this out to you already, but people were saying like, Cardi B, come get your mans. And then isn't Cardi B like transphobic and shit? Like she said some awful things about them.
I don't actually know because she's relatively new. I like maybe one or two of her songs. Not a huge follower. Past few months, definitely. I'd say one of the newest artists, hot.
I would say she's very
2017.
hot right now, but like not the newest in the world. Jeez.
Okay. Well, what has she said that's transphobic? Because I actually haven't heard anything.
I just
want
to make sure I'm getting the real shit, so I'm gonna look up.
I saw people saying that since she's dating Offset, she is complicit in his homophobia, which I think is a bit of a stretch. We should not blame people's partners for their actions of their other significant others, because I don't know, like everyone's responsible for their own actions, just like how Hillary Clinton isn't responsible for whatever the fuck Bill Clinton did.
Thread of Cardi B calling dark-skinned women roaches. Fix that
fuck?
dusty ass weave and grow your edges, and then talk to me ugly looking like a why is there was an ad playing and it went into my ears and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Looking like a fucking roach is like, oh,
is roach
God.
like a racial slur?
She said, if my man cheats on me, I'm going to get him drunk and let a tranny rape him.
Fuck, wait. She said, was that a song or is that just something she said?
That's a tweet, I think.
Oh, fuck.
Here, hold on.
Is it like a really old one though? Or is it... That's fucking fucked up. I can see why that's not good though. Although that...
Oh, it was a video, I guess.
Oh, fuck.
You look like two roaches. Me and her got to a little bout on here, and she called me a monkey. IDK if she's black or not, but she's still weird and childish of her. Damn, she called people monkeys?
That's weird. Because as someone that's not a person of color, I don't know that I can comment on another person of color's behavior towards people within their own community, but definitely does not paint her in a good light, I would imagine. The tranny comment, obviously, that's awful and egregious, and
I said
I'm not sure.
Word tranny before. I ain't know it was a bad word. Now y'all coming back about talking about it was transphobic. Shut the fuck up with that bullshit.
I was just about to say if she's apologetic about it, but apparently not.
I've called myself a roach before, so stop it. Like, it's a word I use a lot. Bronx bitches use it a lot. Stop trying to make it into some racist shit.
Okay. I don't know if enough about the word and like whether or not what she's saying is true.
I like Bargier Cardi
and
I like Bodak Yellow. Just like, why can't people just make music and don't be stupid?
I know. Although I think Migos has said some other homophobic
Oh yeah,
shit
they said they don't want to work with gay people or something like that.
Yeah,
that wasn't that was pretty explicit.
I like the only Cardi B song I really like is Finesse with Bruno Mars. That's a fun song, and the music video is set to like a 90s/80s backdrop thing. It's really fun. It's a good time. But yeah, that's basically that whole TMZ drama segment we were going to do. We have a ton of fan mail to go through, so I think we should do that now, if you'd like.
No.
Oh, wait, no. We have to talk about YouTube changes first. First, please clear your nose.
So YouTube rolled out a new thing which disqualified pretty much every tiny YouTuber for monetization. Yeah.
Including us.
Which didn't really affect us because we weren't actually making money. We didn't make the $100 a month thing that you have to make in order to actually take the money. But they were making money.
Yeah. So, under the new eligibility requirements to be a part of the YouTube Partners Program, you have to have at least 1,000 subscribers, which we have above that, so we're good. But we mostly need to meet a new threshold of 4,000 hours of watch time within the past 12 months. Mm-hmm. And because we don't upload that much onto YouTube, and we're not even that big to begin with, and our videos weren't making that much, we definitely don't qualify. So we have a 30-day notice to stay on the Partners Program, and if we can get our numbers up, we can stay.
I don't think it matters that much.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that much to us because
there
we're doing it for money.
People who are trying their best to do this stuff, like with a lot of effort, not like how we're doing it.
Yeah. The one statistic that makes me not that mad about this change is that 99% of the channels affected by this hadn't even made $100 yet.
No, and we hadn't either.
And we hadn't even made... We fall into that camp. So I'm just like, okay. Anyone that was doing this, that is in that camp, obviously wasn't doing this as a full-time job.
Or
wasn't making a
job,
significant amount of money. Yeah, so it kind of brings YouTube back in a way to the old days where you're not making any money off of it if you're a small guy. Like you have to get like a sizable following to even make this profitable whatsoever.
The thing is like, I think ProZD pointed this out really well. It's just like, this isn't the change that people were griping over. We want 2 or 6 people kicked out of the space. We don't want all these young people who are like trying to make their own stuff to feel like they're not getting anywhere because you just slam them with this. Not that it makes a big difference to them. It's just like, you're going to be kicked off. How do you like that? It's just what we want you to kick off Logan Paul. It's just like kick off the stupid people who... I don't know. This is just like, why would you make this change? Why is this the important thing to do?
Well, the thing is, I think it's a real bad timing issue for them to roll this out because right now the YouTube drama on everyone's mind is Logan Paul. Like, Logan Paul is this problematic person that YouTube gives so much preferential treatment to. And
such a dipshit.
But if they announce this stuff back during the adpocalypse stuff, saying like, oh, our ads are showing up on terroristic videos, or oh, there's channels out there that are showing fucking pedophiliac stuff to kids, that's fucked up, we gotta do something about that. They announced these changes back during that stuff, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Because it would
so I understand that this is... Yeah, and I understand that this move is actually in response to that. It's just so delayed that we've all moved on to this other issue, and now we're mad that the action YouTube is taking does not address our concerns about Logan Paul and stuff. It, in fact, seems to just shit on the little guy while letting one of the biggest guys on the platform just get away with shit.
It's not even a big of a deal. If there was no like Logan Paul situation and they just did this, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. I mean, I'm not going to complain about it because it doesn't make a big difference for me. But the fact that there is like, I don't know, it's like there's a huge gash in your tire, so you're gonna scrub a little Windex on your window and try to fix that. Like, why would you do that? There's like some other big problem going on here. You want to address that? Maybe no. All right, who cares? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, right. I agree with you 100%. That what they did for Logan Paul basically is just take him off YouTube preferred, some sort of preferred ad thing, which does hit him in his wallet at least. They
slap on the wrist.
Canceled his YouTube Red stuff. So that's good too, but
he's still on the
website. Platform. He's still growing like crazy, and in a sense, like YouTube kind of did what they could, bar kicking him off straight up or suspending his channel or something. Because which I think they maybe should have suspended him, but they like the problem is that YouTube isn't actively rewarding him. I think as much as people say they are, it's the people, the like 10 to 12-year-olds, the thousands and millions of them that just keep giving Logan Paul money, that just keep watching his stuff, that keep buying his merch and that keep using their parents' credit cards
like Yammin
to
said,
fund whatever shit he's doing. Yeah. Like, YouTube can, like, knock him down from an ad, like, program. They can cancel his YouTube Red stuff, but they can't stop millions of, like, little kids wanting to watch Logan Paul and the gang's fucking adventures. Unless they expelled him, which they won't, because he still makes money.
It's like, I know he's like on a hiatus right now, right? Like, no vlog. I'm gonna take a step back or something like that.
I think so. I haven't heard.
Yeah, I don't think he's made a video recently. But the next video he makes is gonna get a stupid amount of attention, just because it's like, oh, it's Logan Paul. Whether or not you're a fan of him, it's the the hot number right now. Like, he's got a lot of attention on him because of the thing he did. So regardless, people are gonna watch, and that'll make him money, a lot of money, for whatever video 100%. He posts. It could be about anything, but it's just like, I know exactly what he's gonna do too. It's gonna be like something like "I'm back" or something like that.
Yeah,
and be like,
I can see
I've learned my lesson or something like that, and then he'll make 1 billion views off that and get $13,000 in his wallet. Like,
yeah, fuck. I could see that happening so quickly. Just the title, all caps.
Oh, Logan Paul
reboot 2018, back and better than ever. Yeah. Some stupid shit like
that.
So,
Logag.
It's whatever. The thing is, I literally hear kids when I was at the mall the other day, and I was like shopping, doing whatever. I heard I saw this gang of kids running around with their like phone cameras or whatever, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna be just like Logan Paul. Did you see his new video or Jake Paul or whatever? Did you see their new video?" And I'm just like, this is the generation we have to pass on everything to.
I am so glad
awful.
I did not have the internet when I was that young. I'm so fucking glad. Oh man.
I got the internet kind of young, but I remember the day we got internet. Well, it's I think smartphones.
The kind of internet I'm talking about is like, I have the internet in my pocket, and it can very easily be accessed, and I can take videos of my cat and make cringy, music videos and stuff, and then have to regret that later on. So like, I'm so glad that it's just like just a little bit of time was left before it became what it is now.
Yeah, we were like really the last ones out of the gate that were kind of unaffected. My little sister, who got an iPhone way earlier than I did, is now always on her phone. All her friends are all about that. They're always on Discord or something, talking to each other. She makes Instagram polls and stories and stuff all the time. She's like, they're all just so plugged in. And I know I sound like a goddamn old geezer, because I realize probably a lot. I'm not a hypocrite.
Yes,
I don't use it to that extent. I'm not relying on it. Like,
can you think about a time where you haven't had your phone in your pocket in the last 24 hours?
I mean, no, but I think that's different than simply having my phone in my pocket. I always have it on me, obviously.
It's just like not much of a difference. Like, I spend tons of time on my laptop, but it's literally just content hitting me in the face all the time because I have to have something on, whether or not I'm working or I'm hearing it. It's just like, I need noise because I've been like so used to it now. That's how plugged in I am. I'm always on my phone posting something on something. Like, I'm absolutely plugged in to everything. I don't know how I would stop that. I don't know.
We're all just fucking machines, man.
I don't know.
The moment we can hook up our brains to our computers, we're done for as a species.
I think it's nothing to be ashamed of. I really do. I think that human brains have always desired input, like as much as possible. And now that we have it and we use it like all the time, like we always want like something coming in. And whether or not that's like you fiddling with something on your phone, playing a game, doing something. I do tons of stuff at the same time. I just need that much to do, because this is going to make us sound like, I don't know, like human beings are some kind of gods, but like, we are stupidly smart and we waste it on bullshit all the time. Like, we need to occupy our minds with all sorts of stuff. I don't think it's terrible to be on your phone a lot, unless you're like walking into walls and like falling over like Black Mirror or something.
I definitely think I agree with you that even though, I'm on my laptop or I'm still getting input, I still think there is a limit to what's acceptable. Like, people that walk with their phones in front of them,
put your phone in your
just
pocket.
Like hit shit, like that's stupid as shit. I think people that are like all at dinner together and all of them are on their phones, like that's very sad.
I don't
like,
think that fucking matters at all. I really don't give a shit about that.
I think it does. If I go hang out with my friends and all we're doing is sitting around,
okay,
and
if
we're
there's
all on our
absolute
phones,
silence and you're all sitting on your phones, okay, that's understandable. But if people are like doing one of these and like, dude, I know, right? And then just like going back to your phones, it doesn't matter.
No, I'm talking about like absolute silence. Like we're all just on our phones.
Well, that's
like,
how often do you see that?
I've seen it occasionally. Like it's not an infrequent occurrence, I'd say.
Okay, well that's definitely
a thing.
That's like, why are we hanging out if we're not going to talk to each other? I understand that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Most of the
that's
time,
what I'm worried about.
If I'm going out with anybody, my phone stays in my pocket. If I'm talking to somebody,
same, 100%.
But unless I'm like, I don't know. When I take friends to the gym, I don't want to talk to my friend at the gym. My phone goes in my pocket, my headphone go in, and I zip up my little sweatpants zipper, and then I listen to music and I do my workout. And if they're just trying to like, dude, I saw this thing on Twitter, it's like, shut up, leave me alone.
Yeah, that's why I don't like working out with other people, because I sort of feel like obligated to like talk to them.
Yeah,
it's not even a phone thing. Like phones were moved. It's just that I'm like, I don't know, should I be talking to you or like whatever? I just have to talk about this like exercise with you, whatever. Like I don't care. I don't want any of that. I just want to plug in with music or something and just do what I gotta do. That's like a personal, like my me time sort of thing where I decompress.
The same. It's like either that or listening to music. Like that's just my church. Like I just need that time for myself to like cleanse my, I don't know, brain. Sometimes if 100%. I bring a person to the gym, it's because we're both doing the same kind of like max heavy workouts and we need a spotter. So, you know, it would be necessary in that way. But otherwise, if we're both doing like, I don't know, arms and like doing curls next to each other, we don't have to make eye contact and talk to each other. It's fine.
Yeah, 100%. But I don't want to. I know I jumped down the throat of the younger kids earlier, metaphorically speaking, not like a Roy Moore situation.
Why'd you even bring that up? Nobody's mind went there, you fucking idiot.
Thanks. But I think we'll be all right. I think this is just something we need to adapt to and that we'll get used to. I think the next thing we actually need to be worried about is augmented limbs, like robotic limbs and stuff. That's what Deus Ex is about. And there's a whole war is fought about that shit and new ways to discriminate and segregate people based on that. So when that day comes, that'll be wild.
If traveling and going to space was easily accessible and not tremendously expensive, then I'd be doing that instead of playing The Witcher. But I can't jump on a plane anytime I want and go visit the mountains in Sweden. I can't do that. So I'm going to go on my Xbox and play this game, and it's like, oh, it's kind of like I'm there. It's like escapism. It's like I want to go to these places, but I can't. So I'm going to go in this little box for a little while and pretend like I'm there.
That's fair. It took me 60 hours to finish The Witcher. Just the main story.
I didn't like how I know it would have ruined your immersion, but I wanted a prompt that said, "This is one of the most important decisions in the game. Please pick the right one."
I know. I had no idea. So when I got the ending I was like,
fuck.
There has to be other endings.
It was so sad.
Like, I know.
This is the most sad thing ever.
It was a really good, sad ending, though, where I was like, fuck, this game fucked me up. But I really wish I got a happy ending, just because, like, I love all these characters so much, and I just want what's best for them. So when I didn't get that, I was like, I'm totally emotionally destroyed right now, and I can't play this anymore.
I feel like it's because what happens a lot in video games is you'll be given a character, and you don't feel like you're you. You feel like you're just sort of going along the road of that person's story, and it's them making those decisions. But with The Witcher, playing as Geralt, he's mostly neutral, and you could believe the things that he would do, even if it's like terrible or it's like really good. Things that he do is just like, yeah, I wouldn't put it past Geralt to have done that, because the way he presents himself is just like, I could go either way. I don't really care.
Well, I think you play a large part in shifting like what Geralt does and how Geralt feels about things. Like, there's this big point in the whole show, not the show, but the game, how, Geralt never gets involved in politics, but if I want Geralt to get more involved in politics, I can just say that. I can just make him do certain things during quests. I can make him say certain things, saying like, oh, the Nilfgaardian Empire will bring a new age of prosperity to everyone. Down with Redania or something. Maybe not to that extent, but basically, yeah. There's a quest line, actually, that, you can kill a certain person.
You can assassinate a king.
Yeah.
And
you can fulfill...
Part of the, like, prompt or whatever, when you're talking to the guy at the docks after the witch's coven sails away. The bald guy comes over and he's just like, Master Witcher, I've got a quest for you. And he's just like, I want you to assassinate a king. And then the Geralt's like, Witchers aren't allowed to, be affiliated with politics or whatever. Like, witchers can't go to war or something like that. And then he goes, just like, is that so? And he's like, well, there's a bag of money here. And he was just like, oh, well.
He's like, oh, well. Dude, you know what disappointed me? Did you play that quest through?
No.
You didn't? You never assassinated the king.
I literally, after that quest, I think maybe 2 more quests later, I went to the Viking Island and just cleaned it completely, and then came back and cleaned it completely. And there was some glitch where I couldn't, have the quest lines anymore, and I just got to the end of the game, and I just didn't do that one anymore.
Shit. Yeah, I ended up doing that, but spoiler alert, I ended up having to kill that dude that offered me that quest.
That guy's an asshole.
I liked him, though. He was kind of you were competitive with him, and you were like kind of chummy.
It was cheeky.
I could see it. I wanted us to become friends, basically.
I didn't. He looked greasy, and he would stab like a person.
Definitely. I mean, he definitely had some issues, but I feel like Geralt has had worse friends before, But
also, whatever. He was hard to look at
because he was ugly.
No, he's just like got gross teeth, and he's probably got like herpes or something.
I feel like it applies to a lot of people in that universe.
You know what I think about them? I was like, my ability to find somebody attractive totally depends on them having flawless teeth. I just noticed like all the people who I really, really like to look at, like in general, who I think are really good looking, have great teeth. I guess it's like a subconscious qualifier I never knew I had.
Definitely. I think probably one of the easiest things to notice about someone is if their teeth is really bad. If their teeth is fine, I never notice, or if their teeth are fine, I'm sure I would never notice and wouldn't bother. But if their teeth are really bad, then that's like one of the first things you can notice about someone.
And it's not like fuck you if you have bad teeth. It's just like my personal like brain doesn't work like to be like I don't know. Yeah.
All right, we got a lot of fan mail. I want to get to that.
Oh yeah.
There's some good ones. I wrote down who we need to talk about.
Hold on. Let me pull up the YouTube account.
Oh yeah, you'll pull up YouTube. I'll do the emails. So this is the first one from Megan, who writes to us
quite a bit.
She's great. She says, "Hi guys, I was just re-listening to the 15th episode where you guys talk about Mindhunter, and Patrick mentioned Charles Manson really quickly. Just wanted to hear your guys' opinions on the Charles Manson movie that's coming up, directed by Quentin Tarantino, and I think starring Leo DiCaprio. Have a great weekend. Send from my iPhone." Pat, you responded to that, but if you want to flesh out your thoughts, feel free.
I like Leonardo DiCaprio. He's a good actor. I think he's a touch overrated. And Tarantino, she said, right? Tarantino?
Yep.
Yeah, I really like Tarantino.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a match made in heaven. I'm excited to see what happens. I didn't like Tarantino's last movie very much, The Hateful Eight. I thought it was really boring, to be honest. And Leonardo DiCaprio, I think, is a good actor. I think he maybe is overrated, but I don't think that's his own fault. I think he just does projects that he wants to do that he'll have fun with. And I definitely think that the story of this movie that they're making could be really ripe for some cool shit. I don't know who Leo's playing. If he plays Charles Manson, that'd be weird. That honestly would probably take me out of it, because Charles Manson is an ugly looking motherfucker.
Is he?
So it'd be, oh yeah, dude.
He was the guy who recently died, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's a fucking horror show to look at.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know who Leo's going to be, but I think Quentin Tarantino can turn into something pretty cool.
He looks like one of the characters from the recent Resident Evil game. That's sort of like,
I'm going to get you. Like, I'm a terrifying, horrible hillbilly.
He looks like one of those, the hillbilly
the
family.
swamp people.
Evil 7. Yeah, that shit's fucking crazy.
So, can we go back and forth?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Robert Kiniski responded. He was the one who said that he would like a visual. I think he said that. And he said, I just want to thank you guys for taking your free time to do this podcast. I hope it's not too much of a burden. Just know that you guys have a lot of loyal fans and that we'll keep on watching your stuff, and we really appreciate it. And and P.S. Don't worry, Patrick, you said my last name right. Okay, peace. Thank you very much, Robert. I appreciate that.
That's very kind. Thank you for the support.
I know it sounds like we're not doing that much. It's just like, I don't know. It's just difficult to do extra stuff when what we've got is so simple.
Yeah, I know. This is from Isabella from New Zealand, which is awesome. Hi, dudes. just want to say I love your podcast, even though I don't read comics or play video games. I've recently moved 7 hours drive away from home, so it's been great having something constant in my changing world. I was wondering if you guys are into conspiracy theories, and if so, what are your favorites? You into any conspiracy theories, Patrick? Or like, not even actually believe them, but if there's any ones you find particularly entertaining, or that could even maybe probably be true.
I think I responded with this. I'm going to keep saying that until I die. But yeah, I don't really believe in any. Like, I don't take anything as like, this definitely happened. But I love reading about stuff like that because, I don't know, when I really want to be creeped out, I'll just go on those, like, top 15 abandoned mines or whatever. Like, the story of the mine is like, 100 people died in this mine. The skeletons are still there. It's like, oh. Any conspiracy theories, though, like, the WOW signal I really enjoyed learning about, which is the some guy who had a satellite trained on some certain portion of the cosmos or whatever, and he got a signal one day that was radically different than any of the stuff he had ever had. It was like some listening post in Ohio or something like that. And the specific printed out like information sheet that he got from that signal, he wrote WOW and underlined the specific signal. And I just like that little like almost like Fallout, like that sort of like, this is from the 60s, and it's like, it's got some alien stuff in it. It's like, oh, what's going on here? It's like, yeah, that stuff I love. I'm never really interested in the government conspiracies because they're usually just dark and sad.
Yeah. I am really entertained by the JFK, like, second shooter shit. I think that's kind of pretty interesting. D.B. Cooper, which isn't so much as a conspiracy as it is just like an unsolved mystery. I think that's incredibly fascinating. I'd love to know who the hell that guy is.
The guy who robbed a plane and jumped out?
Yeah, insane. Just hearing that story is riveting. I think
like
it really make a movie out of that. No, it definitely happened. Like he robbed the plane.
It sounds like it's not real.
Oh, right. For a while, and as an impressionable youth, I really thought that the moon landing wasn't real.
Oh my God.
There was like a few key things that convinced me, specifically that I was reading some fucking book from the school library arguing that the moon landing was fake because the American flag couldn't be flying in the background of the picture because there's no wind on the moon. But then, like, I was like, oh shit, of course, that makes so much sense. There were some other arguments and shit that probably don't make any sense.
I think it was a brilliant piece of propaganda used to bankrupt the Soviet Union.
It was a bit of an Interstellar reference.
But obviously, if you look at the photo, they know that there's no wind on the fucking moon, so the American flag is kind of hanging from this 90-degree pole. So there's a part it's physically hanging down from that stretches it out. So there's no wind blowing it.
Because there is gravity on the moon,
hanging.
And if they just left it as that, then it would just drape down like a sad piece of shit. But they put another pole there to have it hang and actually stay upright. And they also have retro reflectors on the moon that you can send information to, and they'll bounce back, so you know we've been there before. Fucking idiots.
So, pretty fucking dumb. I was a dumb kid, but yeah. All right, you got any more YouTube comments?
Oh yeah, hold on. I went back to Skype to see your lovely face, but let me see here. What's a really good one? I didn't play Overwatch. Oh, okay. This one's about Overwatch, so I'm definitely gonna read this. But Happy Light Sense said, I haven't played Overwatch in so long. Might have to pick it up again. Always loved Ana. I love playing Ana. She seemed to have some more variety to her playstyle than other healers. By the way, have you thought about getting a P.O. box for fan mail? I know that you're rather a small podcast at the moment, but some people might want to send you stuff.
Wow, I didn't see that comment actually. I'd never thought about that. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe later. As with everything that you guys suggest.
Maybe later. I think I'd like to see where we are at.
How much does it cost to maintain a P.O. box?
Probably not that much. But
I assume it's a monthly fee thing, right?
Yeah. I'd like to see where we're at our year anniversary from this. See how much we've grown. And then I think we can probably add some other cool stuff like a P.O. box or I don't really think we're ready for merch or even will be by that time.
Definitely not, no.
But I don't know.
I just need to get the logo squared away to like actually
Don't get too attached to our logo, even though I've become kind of attached to it at this point.
Gave us a great fucking logo.
Yeah, and we
want to get something in
never
so we can
talked about it with her, so we just kind of use
also like
it.
if we're doing all this branding stuff with it, then we want to make sure that's something that we made, so we don't like get in trouble or something like that.
Yeah,
which sounds
down
really
the line,
unprofessional.
Yeah, I mean, this is an unprofessional venture, so yeah, we just don't want to run into any trouble down the line, I guess. So who knows what the fucking logo will be a year from now, but hopefully it'll be something cool. Okay, so should I save this Yammin question for when
Definitely.
Yammin comes back
That's what
next week?
he requested.
Okay, cool. I'll save that. Sorry, Emily. We will get to you next week. This one is from Liana. This came in just the other day. Hey, Prude dudes. I wasn't going to say anything, and normally I wouldn't, but your discussion and overall handling of the Sutherland Springs church shooting really resonated with me. This person just listened to episode 17, so that's why it's a bit older. I live in one of the major cities around the area and saw everything play out on the news. No one was really talking about how the shooter, a man with domestic abuse incidents, animal cruelty investigations, and sexual assault allegations, was able to purchase the guns used in the shooting. There was more emphasis on how there was another man with a gun who was able to stop him, and later focused on the road to recovery for the victims of this tragedy. I felt like people glossed over gun control or even the mental health aspect, instead talking about how beneficial owning a gun was. I usually listen to the podcasts at random, which is why I bring this up so late, sorry. But number 17 really brought relief to me. It's nice to hear something that's been bothering me put into words, and so eloquently at that, by all of you. I love the podcasts, they really make my day, and I can't wait to see what you guys do next. From Leah.
That was awesome.
Thank you, Leah. And Patrick's response starts with, "Hey."
I know.
Very heartfelt. They're like, "Hey, you know when you tap on a notification by accident?"
Why are you reading it in an accent? I don't sound like that.
I don't know. When you start a sentence with "A," you sound like a New York Italian to me. So
what happens a
that's what I
lot.
was
Like
thinking.
I got the email notification and I was going to press something at the top of my screen and it immediately teleported there and I was like, I feel obligated to respond now.
Yeah, I'm always gonna be like, "Oh, this is a great email. I'm gonna reply to it later when I can more thoughtfully create a response." But then you always beat me to it, and you're like, all lower caps. "Hey, thanks, dude." Hey,
Because I feel like answering really, if you answer informally, that encourages them to answer informally. So they don't have to have all this like, "Hello, my name is blah. This is exactly what I want to say. Sincerely, blah." But now they can do is like, "Oh, cool."
That's fair.
But yeah, her email
I
is
can
really,
definitely see
really
that
cool,
email.
and it's cool to know that we actually have some opinions that some people might resonate with. And I definitely thought that was a fucking travesty. Not just the incident itself, just like when people twist shit.
Yeah, definitely. And so those emails were really nice to get, and I really appreciate it. Again, if you want to send us any stuff to our email address, that's prudedudes@gmail.com. And I got a few questions from Riley over on my personal Twitter. This is... hang on. Riley asks, who I discovered as a she, who she informed me about that. How do you feel about Trump calling Africa countries shitholes? And what was some funny moments you had during high school? I think we already talked about that in the last podcast, the funny high school moment stuff. So I'm just going to focus on how do we feel about Trump calling Africa countries shitholes?
What?
Patrick? How do you feel about Trump calling African countries shitholes?
I think he's a fucking idiot.
Yep, about sums it up.
I can't get into this because it's basically the same thing every time.
Yeah.
He's incompetent and he's a fucking fool.
I mean, I'm obviously not going to say it's a good thing. I feel like the only proper response, unless your response is like, well, obviously they're shitholes. That's why people are coming to America.
There's no excuse for what he said.
You're an asshole. But yeah, no excuse. Awful thing to say. Really disgusting. Can't believe people are defending it, but that's where they are.
He's the president. And he just said that. He's the president. What?
I know some people would be like, but it was in private conversation, and everyone was swearing. And I was like...
sorry, you don't get to have those anymore. You're the president.
Yeah. And then some dude on Fox News was like... I'm pretty sure I said this last week, but...
if we're being honest... blah, 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 blah,
if we're being
blah, blah.
honest, this is how the forgotten people of America
The
talk
racists?
like, all right? Of course it'll offend people. I'm
And then
like...
Jake Tapper
one,
said something interesting about that.
What kind of bars are you going to? And two... there's a word for those people, and it's definitely not forgotten.
We think about him quite often, actually.
Yeah, so, yeah, definitely that was not good. That's our basic answer. And then they also ask, have you seen Marvel's Runaways, which is that series on Hulu about all those kids whose parents turn out to be some sort of cult thing, and they run away because they have superpowers or something?
That was the comic book series that Yammin read, and he said he's not interested in watching it.
Oh. Oh, I remember when Yammin brought that up, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Yammin read a comic. That's new.
I heard that the series was like they got a huge fan base, just like that one.
I heard it's good.
It's very good, according to everybody I know.
Yeah,
and apparently the thing is going to be on ABC, right?
Yeah, it's either on ABC or Hulu. Pretty sure it's on Hulu.
That doesn't bode well to me.
Yeah,
and also it looks kind of cheap.
Yeah, it definitely has a network television-looking vibe to it. I'm kind of concerned why that show isn't one of the Marvel Netflix shows. Everything's weirdly divided up, and they're all technically part of the MCU, so it's kind of annoying to me, but I might check it out eventually. I also want to check out The Gifted, which is that X-Men show on Fox. I never watched an episode of that, but I've heard that's good,
There's
too.
Like a billion of these fucking shows coming out.
Yeah, exactly. The only one that's actually really good and really worth talking about, in my opinion, is Legion.
Oh,
that
yeah.
one's fucking
Fantastic
insane.
Show.
And it's by the guy that made Fargo, so it's amazing. And it's really goddamn out there.
It's like that's because the comic is out there.
Yeah. It's barely a superhero show, more so it's just like a psychedelic trip that you have to figure out what the hell is going on. And if you're into that kind of stuff, give it a whirl, because I absolutely love it.
Just look up a cover from the Legion comic book, and that should give you an idea, because it's the most dramatic, exaggerated expressions and art style. It's so freakish and cool. I love that fucking thing.
So thank you, Riley, for your questions. Really appreciate it, as always. Let's see. I guess we can wrap it up. Damn, we're at an hour and a half. I need to get ready for bed. I have work tomorrow. I'm an old person.
You're a little bitch.
I know. I really am. Anything else you want to say, Patrick? Because I know you're going to cut me off and be like, wait, there was this one thing.
Let me see if there's any more questions like things we got.
That's true. Any more YouTube comments? I'm so surprised that the YouTube videos have been doing decently well. Not obviously as well as, other videos, but I figured these things would just not do well at all. But actually getting a good amount of comments.
I guess maybe I called the YouTube comment section a bunch of weird shit. And some guy named Dude Blaster said obligatory weird shit.
That's good.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
There was Trust No Thought guy again, and then some girl commenting about. What'd you say this time?
Get out of here. I didn't like it either.
It's seriously a bot, because it happens as soon as our videos go public.
It's becoming like a joke, because look how many likes it got. It got 10.
I know. I'm just like, okay. I don't know why that happens to us. I wonder if it happens to anyone else, but
they're gonna form a rebellion and attack us.
Yeah. All right. Thanks again for listening, guys, to the Prude Podcast. If you want to send us any stuff, you can send it to prudedudes@gmail.com. Check us out on Twitter and Instagram @PrudeDudes. If you want to follow our individual accounts, that will also be in the description. Anything else? What am I missing? Probably missing something. Oh, subscribe to Prude Dudes on YouTube.
Wait, did we get any art?
No, not that I know of. Unless you got art individually.
Hang on. See,
we actually have
I
not
get
gotten some art
of
recently.
me, and they don't tag like the Prude Dudes account. So I wonder if it's okay to like post on ours.
Sure, go for it. But yeah, if you also want to send us art, you can send it to us again to our email address, or to any of the Prude Dudes Instagram accounts or Twitter accounts, or even to our individual accounts. My individual Twitter is @AlexPena97, Patrick is @PatrickCharlton5, and Yammin is @its_Yammin. Did you find any art?
Nope. There was one of me.
Thank you again for... Okay, well, you can post that later, I guess.
I did.
Okay, well, we're great then. We're all hunky-dory, I guess. Thank you again for listening, guys. See you again next week.
Ah.